Right, hello everyone. Welcome to the third Pitched Up podcast. Today I'm joined, as always, by Louis Hartland. And we've got two new guests to the podcast: Hayden Brooks, the current quiz champion, and George Axtell, the son of the president of Bingham CC.
Yeah.
Bit of a different one today. So this is actually a multinational podcast. So we've got three of us in England, and George is in Bahrain. Lived there all your life. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, apart from school, but yeah.
Yeah, goes to school, private school in England.
Yeah.
Says it all, really.
Get the private school digging early there, Lloyd. I like it.
There's many to come. Bowls fast, would be fair to say, I think.
Quick. I've scooped him a couple of times,
I tried to in that. When did we play again? What game was that one? Oh, it was your dad's Bahrain Camels team.
What was the state of your whites afterwards, the pair of you, after you tried to scoop him?
You scooped him pretty successfully, Louis.
Oh, I scooped him for 4 twice.
Yeah.
Back to back. He put a man down, mate.
Your brother then came down the track at me before
as well. I came in with 2 overs left against the Bahrain team, and I reverse swept Dax for 4, and then tried to scoop George, which didn't go quite as successfully.
Did you wake up after that?
Is it what?
Did you wake up after that?
Well, I didn't hit the ball. I was on the floor, to be honest. He bowled a wide Yorker, but I committed to the scoop, so I was just sort of stood there, like parallel to the stumps. Like, how's that happened?
I did it in the Sixers match. I remember it was the Sixers tournament.
Yeah, it was.
Scooped him, and then you got rid of your wicketkeeper and sent him down to fine leg, and I still scooped him for 4.
It was in the
still managed to get
final.
past him.
Oh no, you didn't play for us in the final. George did, because you left our team to play for Hayden's team.
Yeah, I carried you to the final,
and then we replaced you with George and won the thing. That was a great day.
Dodgy.
That Sixers competition.
Yeah, it's normally August bank holiday, isn't it?
That's some
I don't think I've ever been so tired after a day's cricket, though.
Yeah.
It was hot, wasn't it?
It's a long day.
Yeah, it was.
So
we're just going to have a bit of a chat today about basically George's cricketing life, because he's far more interesting than any of us are. And then we, as with last week, George, have you watched last week's podcast with Harley?
Of course.
So we're going to finish off by doing the sort of Would I Lie to You game that we did with Harley. So me, Hayden and Louis are all going to give you a story, and you've got to decide who's lying and who's telling the truth.
Right.
So first we'll just start. So me, Louis and Hayden, the best standard the three of us have played at is, what would you say, Div C on a Saturday? Is that better than?
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
Yeah, so for those of you who are not from Nottingham, which at this point I don't suspect we have any viewers who are, but the way the divisions work is there's the Premier Division and then A down to N.
To be fair, it might be restructured by when some people use it.
Yeah, but as you're watching this, it goes Premier Division, A down to N. Our first team are in C, so that's the best standard that we've played at. But George, you've played a bit different ICC competition.
Yeah, Div A. Take that.
Yeah, you left
Div
us.
A for Ellerslie. Yeah,
No.
George ditched Bingham last season to go and play at a higher standard. Can't really blame him. Took a fifer, didn't you, in one game?
Yeah, just one. And then the next week, that was when my dad took his first fifer. Dampened it a bit.
So, what age group have you played for Bahrain?
I trained with the under-16s, but didn't make the team. Then I've done 2 under-19s tours. One which was ACC, so Asian Cricket Council. The other which was ICC. Not too dissimilar, but both are good fun.
So how does it work? So do they, like in Bahrain when you're playing for your local team, do they sort of send people to watch, or?
Well, it is no. So you don't. There's kind of like they've got a franchise tournament which has started up.
Mm-hmm.
So the main national team take players from that, and then the kids is just turn up, put your name down, as villagers.
Like an open
Just go
trial.
for a net. You
That's,
go for a net.
that's how
Go
England
for
do it.
it.
That's how James Vince got in the Test match.
Oh, we're not going to start this again. I've
I
already
rate
had
James.
messages with Lloyd.
Tommy, and
I
I feel
got-
like there's a definite spinners union.
I
I
got a
feel like
message.
you put spinners very hard compared to what
What? I'm not a spin bowler. I got a message off Hayden after that video went up. He wasn't happy. He said James Vince is one of the best looking batsmen, like technically, not in terms of like appearance.
Well,
Nice
no,
look.
you've
he's
got
a
to add
good
more
player.
context. You can't just drop that. Wait, so you've got to add more context. So, to be fair, what I said was that there's no way James Vince was any worse than Balance, Hales, and whoever else you put in
Jennings
that.
was the other one you dropped.
Jennings,
but, I mean,
yeah.
Jennings has 2 Test match tons.
Jennings is woeful.
Gary Balance
Jennings
started off his England career great. James Vince has never had a good spell.
Yeah, but-
Alex Hales, I think, fair enough. You might be able to argue that. I think we put him in a too high
Yeah,
category.
but I love Alex Hales, so he
Who
goes-
has what you needed to take into consideration was who they scored the runs against. James
That's
Vince
what I said.
had
I
8
said
Test
that.
matches against Australia, who beat us 4-0, and then Pakistan, which they might have even beat us at home with a decent pace attack. Whereas Gary Balance, I think, scored them against really poor teams.
I wanted Jennings lower.
It wasn't so much
Wasn't
that.
that good,
It's the fact that you put someone like Tim Bresnan so high. I couldn't
Where did you
believe
put
it.
Bresnan? Bang average, wasn't it?
No, I think you put him in good, like decent.
Yeah, he had a good spell,
Couldn't believe
Bresnan.
Yeah, it was just
Look,
some
if
of
you
them
look
I would
at-
have just put up or down. And Strauss was the other one that I couldn't.
Yeah,
believe
but to
you
be
put.
fair, I explained why Strauss isn't
Yeah.
there. He averaged like 31 in the 2010s. He didn't play that many matches, which for an opener is pretty average. Bresnan, yeah, in like 2011, 2012, when that England team was the best in the world, he was the one who was playing at 8 as the all-rounder.
I think he's the one that just got picked.
To try and circle this back round anyway. So how old is it you are, George? How old are you now?
Yeah, back to George.
No, it doesn't have to be. 18.
So you're 18 now. I'm just trying to think when I would have first played against you. What? If I've been at Bingham for 3 years, I think. Well, this would have been maybe my 4th.
Yeah, so it was every summer. It would have been when I was 15. Yeah, 3 summers ago, 2017 maybe.
We first played together in a girls' match, actually.
I remember that.
I think it was 2012. Bingham had a girls' team, but there was only about 3 girls signed up. So me, George, Louis, Josh Beavis basically had to play for the girls' team every week.
Yeah, I think it's because we were young enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pairs cricket though, and I remember so we were all like 12 and 13, but the lads who were playing against were like 10 and 11. I remember getting bowled 3 balls in a row, like smashing my bat on the floor.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
Some things don't change, Lloyd.
Runs was never my forte. Just ordered a new bat actually on Sunday.
Yeah, this man's
looks
ordered
nice.
nice. He's not gone.
Which one did you get?
It's the same as Louis' Tum bat, just a different colour scheme.
You're not going to be able to pick it up.
His bat was the one I hit that 6 with. That's literally the sole thing I've based the
down the
purchase
wicket
on.
to hit that.
What? Yeah, I
have
was
to
about
run down
halfway
the
down.
wicket.
The point is, I absolutely creamed it.
He's bought it off the internet. He's not gone and seen the bat. He's just bought a bat off the
Yeah,
internet.
that's true. Well, no, because I know for a fact, I did research. I know it's exactly the same as yours, and I've held yours and batted with it.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair. It depends. I would say it depends if you're going to be like picky about it picks up and the amount of grains it's got. If you're that sort of bothered, if you're Lloyd, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, I don't think it actually matters. It's a piece of willow. You could take a plank out if you wanted to.
I'm a 6 hitting general now. There's no more to it. I'm going to bat at 6 and the Ben Stokes of the side.
You're going to be hoping that you're like modern day Brearley for the 2s, where you don't bat, don't bowl. You're just a really good.
You're the new Dave Taylor.
Exactly. Bat at 6, not have to bowl. Just hope all my players do it for me. That's what our captain should do.
You should start keeping Tommy. DT did.
No, we shouldn't.
I did it for the 2s.
No, Lloyd,
that?
you kept in our under-19s game.
Yeah, I wasn't too bad. I don't think I let any buys go off X. And I was terrified. I was still about 40 yards back.
I don't think we won many games.
No.
We did with Eddie games.
No.
We played in a threes game with George. I think it was one of his first games back. Not last year, maybe the year before.
You played in a threes game?
Yeah.
They weren't happy.
No, and so we lost.
Hang on, so George was there bowling 5K at some 12-year-olds?
Yeah, I was standing at second slip next to George's dad, and I've never been. It was at Beaver, and I've never been stood. So me and like where third man would have been shaking hands. We were miles back. Jake Panton was keeping.
Oh, I think I remember this game because there was no first.
It was when the first didn't have a game.
Twos and threes.
Yeah.
And I was playing for the two. I got drawn in to play for the twos instead of the threes. And you took Alex Collins as well, I think. You took
Collins
AC,
played. Yeah.
AC, Pantling, you two.
Yeah, and we all scored, I think, a combined total of 12 runs between the three of us.
I took 1 wicket.
Yeah.
That's good from you, Ax.
Hang on,
So
you lost?
Yeah, we lost.
Nathan was captain, I'm pretty sure.
To be fair, if I remember rightly,
explains it.
George, they had 2 decent opening batsmen. They shouldn't have been playing at that standard either.
No. But then they were the ones that weren't happy.
Yeah, well.
It was last year at, where was it we were playing on a Sunday?
Houghton on the Hill.
Yeah, we spoke about this, I think, a couple of podcasts ago. George, you were opening the bowling, and I was stood in the slips with the Kingsleys. Tim was keeping. We were literally stood 30 yards back.
I said to George,
taking it around his neck.
Third man, he went, yes. Because he's just going to bowl absolute
How fast can you bowl it? Full whack. What's the quickest ball you've bowled?
I've never been.
To be fair, he throws it.
Never.
He does throw it.
No, Louis, that's changed over. That's changed over this coronavirus.
How to trigger George in 3 seconds?
These podcasts are going out onto the internet. You don't want to be wrecking this poor career before it's even started.
Yeah, Bahrain are going to get some complaints now because they've been fielding ineligible players.
One of the umpires from on one of the tournaments that I went on, it was from the Asian Cricket Council one. They pulled me up on it and said that I needed to be. I was. What did they say? It was basically I was on the verge of on the edge of a shot. Yeah.
It's when he bowls in the nets and he bowls some off spin, and that is a genuine throw. You can't even argue. He genuinely bowls off spin like at an angle of here.
Well, as long as he bowls it like that and not a flex, then you're all good. It's not thrown.
So the ICC competition, how formal was that? How did it work? Where were you playing?
So the ICC was Thailand. You get flights out there. I'm not sure how it works for different countries, but we got flights out there which were paid for and hotel, but then and food obviously. The tournament was like you're put in a group of 4 countries, 3 games. So 5 countries. We were put with Hong Kong, Kuwait, Maldives, and China.
So the real elite of the cricketing world.
Yeah, China weren't bad, you know. They were all right.
They got such a big population. You'd assume they got 11 decent cricketers somewhere.
They couldn't bat though. That was the issue.
Was this full men like adult cricket?
No, under 19s.
Under 19s. So you mentioned that you sort of played Div Asia high standard here. How would it compare?
Div A is probably the men's national team. You've got the top players of under 19 national probably would be in a Div A side. And you've got probably the under 19s would be the top players out of that would probably be county. But no higher. I wouldn't have thought. A couple of the guys who we played against from Hong Kong have actually gone pro and they're now playing for Hong Kong men's. So you find that the countries who have got a solid setup get players all the way through, which is kind of what Afghanistan have done.
Yeah. Hong Kong have played in T20 World Cups, haven't they? In the preliminary group stages.
Yeah.
So how did you perform in the games?
Oh, we don't mention it.
Was this the tournament you decided to scoop one on middle stump?
Yeah, I wasn't happy.
Have you got the video of that?
Photo.
I don't think it was. No, there's a photo. It went up on.
It's a photo.
ICC Instagram. Yeah.
Was it not a video?
No, it was a photo.
I've definitely seen a video of
Little
it.
some cartwheeling as George is in the position to scoop it.
Well, have you got the photo, George?
It'll be somewhere.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll put it on the. I'll get George to send it to me, and it's in the middle of the screen now for everyone that's watching.
If he sent it you.
But what they don't say is it was a free hit.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
Oh, fair
I remember
enough.
him saying.
You tried to scoop a free hit. That's criminal.
Just get your left leg out of the way of it, man.
Stand and deliver.
Get your left leg out of the way and put it into the field over yonder.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a great tournament performance-wise. My first over, when I bowled at least 10 balls, at least. Yeah, it wasn't
money's
great.
worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long flight out there, so we wanted to make sure he was using his time effectively. So, what was your role in the side? I assume you weren't playing as a specialist batsman.
I ended up playing as a specialist batsman, Lloydy.
Really?
Yeah.
Got any runs?
After that first over, I bowled one more over in that game, went for 11, which not great, and then batted at 5. Didn't score many runs. Top score was probably in the 30s.
So Knots were calling him.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Lloyd, so we've designed a whole podcast to speak to somebody who's played ICC competitions, who went as a bowler,
He's not played very
couldn't bowl
well.
and can't bat.
Yeah, and he's still by far the most successful person we've got at Big Cricket Club. So, any danger of you playing for the Bahrain national side, do you reckon?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, you don't actually need to have a Bahraini passport to play for the national team, because
You're in this, boys.
Hold on, that's ultimately.
I won't be scooping the free hit.
you've got to qualify in like different ways. So I was born here, so it means that I can always play.
So would your dad be able to play because he's lived there for so long?
I'm not sure. I think.
I mean, I assume they're going to pick a 45-year-old bloke or however old his dad
Be
is,
surprised.
No,
They've heard about his performance on the last game of last season. He'll be getting a call imminently.
I've seen the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does that work? Do they ring you up? Do you get an email? Like, is it how formal is it?
He's got Southgate on the
Is it like when Southgate rings the players?
No. So just in a training session, they cut people in front of you. So they call out the people that haven't been cut,
brutal.
and the other ones go home.
That is brutal.
It's like Love Island.
Middle East, do they?
Lads, you two step forward. You've been voted off.
It's like when you're picking teams, like a five-side game, and you're like the last
kid
two.
left
Like,
at the end.
Yeah, Louis, you were that kid, weren't you?
yeah. I was like, I'm last, but I'm not that bad.
Yeah, so the selection's over like good 2 months. But the problem is all the tournaments are after summer. So we ended up training. We don't have any grass pitches. It's all sand with a layer of concrete, then AstroTurf.
But when you go, I assume when you
roses.
played in competition, it was grass pitches.
Yeah, which is possibly one of the reasons why we struggled, because half of our players have never played on grass before.
I guess you only do in England.
Yeah, that's about it.
And that does explain why you bowl half trackers every ball.
I was going to say, I can imagine on the AstroTurf wickets on concrete, you get a bit of carry.
Yeah.
All right, so George, are you ready to be lied to?
Oof. Yeah, go on. Is there a certain amount of lies between you all, or
I'm not going to tell you that. At least
They
one
could
of
all
us
be
is
true.
lying. At least one of us is lying. At least one of us is telling you the truth. But I'm not going to tell you whether two are a lie or two are a truth. Who wants to kick it off this time? Louis?
You? I'll go. So my only fifer I've ever taken is not on play cricket, and it was at under 13 level. That when I bowled gas.
Okay, so
am I questioning straight away, or are we going through all the lies?
Up to you. You can question him straight away, or you can take all the.
We'll go through all of them.
Okay, so I've once played in a game where there was a building burning next to the pitch, but we carried on playing? Hayden?
He's trying to think of it.
He's frozen.
Mine's a little bit more long-winded, I'll be honest. Where they've been taken out by the sight screen.
Didn't get a word.
Tell us again. You're frozen.
That's right.
I got the side screen.
Yeah, so I've played in a game where a player has been taken out by the sight screen.
Was it at Butfield?
Who's that question to?
You, Hayden.
All of us.
No.
Yeah, the clubhouse was on fire.
Just a shed.
Lloydy, where was the house burning?
It wasn't a house, it was just a building. So I was playing a school game, and we were playing on it was away, we were playing on their school field, and the school was on fire.
The school, like you could see flames, or was it just smoke?
A lot of smoke, but flames, and the fire engines came, and literally the whole school was evacuated. Like, they were all lining up on the field across the road, and we just carried on playing.
I feel that's too ridiculous to be true.
We were sort of looking over thinking like, there's a fire over there, but we just didn't stop. But yeah, there was like a sufficient amount of smoke coming from the buildings, from what I recall.
Louis, yours was the only FIFA you've ever taken.
Yeah.
I can't.
You know how good a bowler I was, John.
You have the same amount of FIFAs that I do.
Yeah, but mine's not on play cricket, so doesn't count.
Where was it?
Where? Yeah.
Under 13s. So 2000 I'd have been 12.
Where?
Where? Oh, Bottisford.
Yeah. Right. Do you remember the which batsman you took? Was it lower order?
I was opening bowler, George. What do you think? No, I took three at the start, and then 2 at the death.
Okay. Right. I reckon I can go for Lloydy. I don't think yours is true.
Do you want me to reveal that now, or are you going to say what you think about theirs first?
Right, I'll go through all of them because you said that one's a lie, one's always a lie, and one's always true. So yours is false. Louis, I think yours.
You're not going to ask Hayden any questions about someone being knocked out by a sight screen?
I'm moving around the screen. Right, okay. Okay, Louis, I'm going to say I think yours is true, and I'll go on Hayden. Right. Where was it?
It was at Hoveringham.
Okay, and who was hit? Was it someone walking round, or was it a fielder?
It was a fielder. We've been blessed with many players who have played for us from the uni. It's one of the old union lads.
Okay. And injuries?
Well, he nearly got decapitated, so nothing too serious.
Okay. Hayden, I don't think yours is true. I reckon if it was anyone, it would have been a spectator walking around the side. But why was the fielder by the side screen?
See, I can't remember the bowler, but one of the bowlers had hit the ball into the field that was behind the sight screen. To add a little bit more onto the sight screen at Hoveringham, if you've never played there, it's 3 wires going across, and the ball got hit into the field. The fielder ran into the field to go and get the ball, didn't see the wire, and the wire hit him roughly in the throat.
So it's like a curtain at Hoveringham.
Yeah, it is. It's like a curtain.
There's a
it's
curtain,
on like a massive rail with 3 wire things going across, and you have to draw it across. Yeah. But it wasn't drawn across, so we ran into the field and didn't see the wire.
Right, because when you were saying it was the side screen, I was picturing the one at Butfield.
He's tripping over the wheel.
Yeah, he was going to catch the ball, he was looking in the air, and he just ran into the side screen.
And that's why you need to ask questions, you see.
Right. Lloydy, I don't think yours is true, but I reckon both of the other ones are.
So, if I'm right, Hayden's is true. So you got that one right.
That was such a good game.
It was Hayden, wasn't it?
It was the funniest moment I've ever had on a cricket pitch.
Unbelievable.
He literally looked like he got clotheslined, and I reckon. And do you know when you're just looking at it directly, you could see.
You were at fine leg, weren't you?
No, I was at deep cover, but Hanil was at fine leg, so he's gone running off to go and get the ball. That's gone, I don't know, through the keeper or whatever. It's gone down there.
So funny.
Not even seen it. And it's literally hit him halfway up his neck.
And just flattened him.
And just flattened him. He disappeared because it's like a cornfield behind it. So he completely disappears below the grass. So
it's a good game.
It was, and I remember me and Harley were uncontrollable, just in fits of laughter for the best part of 15 minutes whilst the game's still going on because of this. And he had to go and get a flight back to India the next day, and he had this massive red mark over his neck.
Oh. Louis?
Yeah, mine's a lie.
Louis taking 5 wickets. For what second could you possibly believe that?
Don't think so.
See, no, the only thing that I thought was that it could have been more.
Yeah, I had you down for more, to be fair. And I knew the answers.
No. I don't think I ever have. Not that I can remember.
You got a 4-fer.
Yeah, I took 4 for 3
years ago against West Bridgeford.
Spin, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Loopy off spin.
Well, no, wasn't there a game last year where I bowled you in tandem with
Ollie? We both took 3 for, I think.
And you either bowled half trackers that went for 6 or full tossers that went for 6.
No, that was a
third ball was
that was at Hink. That was at
Hinkview,
the last game. Ollie took 4-fer.
No, it was at home.
No, it was a home game.
With all due respect to Ollie, it was the worst 4-fer I've ever seen.
Charlie got sick, didn't he? So he brought that.
Yeah, he was.
And then Dax bowled a great spell of 8 overs. And he was like, I might as well stick with the spinners.
Yeah.
And then me and Ollie just bowling either a full toss that's going for 6.
That was one of the many days that reaffirmed to me that it wasn't my time to continue on as the Sunday captain.
And my story is true. There was.
It was quite hard to listen to your 2 stories, bearing in mind I knew both of them were true. I was listening to them, trying not to smile. And I was like,
I've actually got more questions about yours, Tommy, because obviously I didn't know your story. I just knew the answer. In terms of the actual story, you mentioned the building next to it. Was it a school?
Yeah.
We were playing away at another school.
Yeah,
so it was a school game?
Yeah, it was a school game.
Oh, okay. So, sorry, that makes sense. Because you said that it got evacuated, and I was like...
Yeah, there was smoke coming from the building, kids were coming out.
See, I'm doing better at this than George, to be honest. With all these...
Louis, you were playing, weren't you?
Yeah, I played. I had to bat against a not fast bowler. He only bowled at me. He only bowled at me. I was like, great. Cheers for that.
Yeah, fire. But just no one spoke about it. The umpires were
just carried on playing.
Okay. They were just ignoring it. Like, fire engines were coming in. We were like, are we going to stop anytime?
It was 8 aside, wasn't it? It was pairs.
Yeah, it was pairs. I hate pairs cricket.
I loved it. Just hit them.
Based on absolutely terrible cricket.
I need about 8 overs to get off the mark, so pairs cricket is not ideal.
Yeah.
Deary me.
Shocking.
Right, so George, 1 out of 3. Harley got 2 out of 6 last week, so you've done equally as poor as Harley. I think we're going to make this a weekly fixture. People seem to enjoy it last time. Yeah, to be fair, if we're on it every week, we're gonna. It's like Lee Mackham, Would I Lie to You? He's not told one that's true in about 6 years.
Yeah.
He just says absolutely ridiculous stories. Well, thank you everyone for listening to the 3rd Pitched Up podcast. Nice to hear some insight from an ICC cricketer, if we can call him that. Hopefully, it's not too long before you'll be in the Bahrain side, and not too long before you're back playing for Bingham either in 2 years when we're in A. We all know Tim Snapes is a Div A player, so he wants to get inside there. Well, thanks for joining me, lads. Thanks for listening, everyone. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our social medias, links in the description and all that. And we'll see you next time.